Welcome to whatever this episode is. I don't remember if it's like the 32nd or something like that. I can't remember. But my name is Sarah. This is the Day-to-Day Knits podcast. I am filming this on a Monday after work. And it's actually past sunset, I guess. It's cloudy, so I can't quite tell, but there's no daylight. It is really hot. We went from really cold days where we had frost warnings and everything, but now it is back to low mid 20s in Celsius with the 70 something Fahrenheit. So today I'm wearing the cold shoulder crop. I think that's what it's called. It's what I wore to work. This is part of my work outfit too. Headphones for all the meetings and the podcasts and the books that I listen to while I do work whenever I don't have to read something or write. So I wore this, and I wore a flannel sweater on top of it because usually they have the air conditioning on. Although today I don't think they had it on. If they did, well, it really was not as cold as it usually gets at the office. But anyway, I did this project using a yarn that bleeds, and if you see below, I'll put the information about it. I think I have a fiber on my lip. I don't wear this much makeup at work. I rarely wear makeup at work. Because I mean, I'm sitting behind a computer most of the time. I rarely have meetings and that are not like within just people at the office. And I don't think anyone else in my team wears makeup, and we're mostly women. But for the videos, I like to just put a little extra effort, and I like wearing makeup. But there we are, and I still have, I don't know, this is what happens when you work with fibers. Okay, yes, so this yarn that I am wearing bleeds a lot. So there's your warning for that. But I really like it. I liked working with it. It did not bleed as I was working with it. It was only when I blocked my clothes that I noticed it. And I made this top when I got COVID in January of 2020, right after the New Year's. Because I needed something that was easy enough that even though I had a really bad case of COVID, I could focus a little bit on it, but was also entertaining enough that it wouldn't be boring. Because I either did this, I worked on this, or I was reading a book, American Dirt, which I highly recommend, or I was just watching silly TV shows, you know, what the sick person does. And I'm starting to get hungry. Okay, so this is really easy, highly recommend it. I changed the pattern, although I would have probably not have made those changes now. That's it. It's fairly easy. If you want to like try doing some cables, this is like a 2-stitch repeat. Very easy, although I made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, I made a mistake right at the beginning. But anyway. And it's by Park Williams. I have, goodness. Okay, I got it. I think I got it. I have one finished project, and that is another Summer Storm scarf, which is now entering a testing phase. If you're interested in testing it, let me know, and on Instagram you can send me your email so we can talk about it. And I made it using a yarn that I actually bought to make a sort of Christmas present for a baby, but we'll get there. And I have not blocked it. I just finished it last night. But once I block it, it should not be rolling like this much anymore. But that's the beginning of it, and this is the end of it. And then in the middle, it's fairly simple. It just has, you might or might not be able to tell, it just has a little detail at the center, and then it has an I-cord all around. That is easier to tell, I think, once you get to the lace part. I made this like during the weekend. I started on Saturday in the afternoon, I think, and I finished it last night. It was basically 2 afternoons. And this is the smallest size. The biggest size is supposed to be able to go around your neck and still have enough to tie. This one is just so like you can tie it around your purse, or if you want to put it as a ponytail, you can like add this to your regular ponytail elastic. And for that, I recommend, as you do your ponytail, have this go the same way your hair does. So the ponytail is actually doing this. So your scarf is going through the ponytail, and then tie it around your hair. It makes sure that it stays secure. I do that with this. I do it with, you know, little scarves that you buy at the store, just for a little extra personality. But that's it. This is a very, very simple pattern. It's already in testing, but I think I only have 2 people testing it right now. And I'd be okay with getting just a couple more people testing the different sizes. But that's it. And since this one is made with a yarn that is more suitable, like it's a warmer yarn. The one that I did before is with a summer yarn. This is probably like, it might be superwash. It feels like it would be superwash, but I can't recall right now. I'll put it in the notes below. But that's it. That's all I have to say about this. I still have to weave my ends. Oh, I just forgot something. But it doesn't matter right now. Okay, well, there you are. Oh, this might look a little different because I freaked out a little bit. I came here one time and I found a moth. But it was not a moth that eats clothes. It's a moth that eats like leaves and bark from trees. But I did not know that at the time. So I freaked out. I tried to kill the moth, but it kept like flying away. And I removed the vast majority of the yarn from the wall to like check for any other moths and to put it in the freezer, and some of it is in the freezer, and I'm like, I mean, I'm just going to keep it there because you never know. And I might start doing that whenever I buy new yarn, just put it in the freezer because I want my yarn to be out. But you know, there's always a danger of moths. If I put it in the box, there's a danger of humidity or opening the box and finding dead bugs at some point because they somehow get in. I don't know how they do it, but they do. Yeah, but I still have some yarn there, but all this down here is gone, and I stopped when I found out that that was not a moth that eats fabric. So there. So everything is okay, but it looks a little different, and it might until the end of the month, until I put all the yarn back. And when I do that, I'm going to count again how many skeins I have, since I have used several of them, And I'm going to start doing like Natalie from Nitty Natty. I'm going to start counting how many skeins I have coming in and how many I have going out. Just keep track of it. And that was the thing that I forgot. I started actually like writing stuff down and writing my goals for the month. But that was it. One of my goals was to do this because one of you showed interest in making this as a Christmas present, and I did not have a pattern out, so there, I wrote it. It's done, it's in testing. Then I did a sample for what I am going to stick. See, I'm going to try sticking on this first, then see how that goes. But this is the sweater that has had many changes, called Right Direction. If you want to know all the changes that I did to the pattern, they are going to be in the previous episode. But it is fully finished except for the sticking. I think it fits. Might be a little long on the arms. Yeah, it will be a little long. Oh well. And I was supposed to have sticked it, I think last weekend or the weekend before that, but I want to use a method that uses a sewing machine to reinforce the stitches right next to the stitches that I'm going to be cutting into. And I could not find the cable that plugs into the wall of my sewing machine. So I ordered one, it arrived today, so I'm going to be sticking. And I've already ordered the hooks for the cardigan so that it can then be closed. Yep, so that's something to do soon, but I'm pretty happy with this. I can put it on for a short amount of time because it is so hot. And I still have to close the armholes. And I have put most of the ends away, but not all of the ends away. Oh, hey, the sleeves are not bad. This one looks longer a little bit though. But there. You can tell that my gauge was not the same throughout. Sometimes, I'd say it was for most of the time, but sometimes you can tell that it changed. Yeah, this is not bad. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Yes. I should make myself one. Yes, I do like this. I might have to make more cardigans with sticking. Because I don't like knitting flat on big pieces. It feels never ending. But this is good. This is going to be okay. And I'm going to put those little hooks that are invisible hooks. The ones that women have on bras, just like here behind this I-cord. And I finished the cardigan, and I'm really happy I did this. I finished it with a single I-cord, except for this. This is obviously one I-cord and this is another I-cord finish. But I started on here, and I went all around the waist. Then I came up, then I went around here, then I went back down. That's it, one I-cord for the whole thing. It's really cool. Yes, and now I'm going to have to reinforce all of these stitches on the side using the sewing machine. I'm going to use both the zigzag stitch and the stitch where you go back and forth and so on several times. And then I intend on putting a little ribbon on the inside to hide the finish and attach the hooks to that instead of attaching it to the yarn. And I then did the sample. And I think I might still have 1 or 2 skeins left of this. I'll have to check. But I did the sample to try it out and get the right stitch dimension. Spacing, I mean. Yep. Well, this feels good. I did this. And now I only have 2 more Christmas presents. And one of them I already started. It is called the Autumn Beanie Mohair. And it's by Jord clothing. Jord is starting with a J. It is a Danish, I think, brand that sells patterns as well as yarn, I believe. And I started it last night. I only have this. I started it after I finished the scarf. And it's a really cute beanie for babies. It has little ear flaps and it ties under the chin. And really, that's nothing. I mean, but so far I'm having a little bit of trouble with the pattern. Like right at the beginning, they say, okay, cast on these many stitches, do these eyelets between the stitches to do like increases, and then you get a total of stitches, and the total is like, say 20. It is not 20, but there, let's imagine it's 20. And then the following row they're like, oh, knit these stitches, put the marker, knit these stitches, put the marker, knit these stitches, put the marker, knit these stitches, and that's it. Those are the instructions for that row, and those will then indicate where you're doing your increases. But when you add up all of those stitches, they don't add up to all the stitches you have in a row. They're off by like 4 stitches. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I read it and I read it and I read it again, and I don't see how I could have done a mistake, made a mistake. So maybe the translation is just not good, and it should something should have been explained some other way. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And honestly, this is all I have to say right now. But I am going to start doing just like Natalie from Nitty Natty does. I'm going to start planning things a little bit because I love planning. And I want to keep track of how many skeins I have going in and out. Because I have a lot of skeins, and in the summer I think I had 250. Excuse me. Or so. And I will count as a skein anything that has more than 10 grams. Well, 10 grams and more, because 10 grams it's something that you can add for a scrappy project, and you can still do like lots of rows. I mean, depending on what it is, if it is socks or something. So I still count that much. Yeah. So we shall see. But and also thank you for replying to my Instagram stories where I asked you what should I do next, and I believe that the majority were of the comments were to finish Christmas presents. Then I think it was finish your whips, and this will be my whip to finish, just because I haven't worked on it since the summer, because I wanted stuff that I could do without having to look at my laptop, and for this I have to look at my laptop. because it's a chart that I cannot memorize. It's too big. And then it was make a sweater, and I think that the preference for the sweater was to do a colorwork sweater that I could then possibly translate to a recipe, which is different from a pattern. A pattern would tell you something like, do these increases. You now have these many stitches, while a recipe is do increases until this. And it doesn't tell you exactly how many increases to do or how many stitches you're gonna have. It's for slightly more experienced knitters, or for knitters that want to try something out, but they want to feel more freedom to do what they want, instead of just following something that's very strict. And I mean, you can always change a pattern, but this one, because I've never done a sweater pattern, I'm afraid of doing something terribly wrong, and the testing of the patterns stresses me out, and I just don't want to necessarily go through that with the same expectations to be fulfilled. So it would be more of something that connects more to you, and you have to use your own what do you call it? I don't know. Judgment. You have to use your own judgment to see where you want to stop and start different parts of the project. But it would be a colorwork project, very simple colorwork, very easy to do. I'm thinking with a circular yoke, because I feel like that allows for more flexibility in terms of your armholes, so you can make something that's with larger sizes. You don't have the issue, unless you want to make that your design of your project, but you don't necessarily run into the issue of having big armholes when really your bust might have a bigger dimension, but your arms don't necessarily proportionally increase the same way. I feel like people that tend to knit larger patterns, larger sizes in sweaters know what I'm talking about. And sometimes people that knit the smaller sizes, they run into the same issue, but the other way, where the arms are just too tight for their bust. So, and then for the vest, and I really want to make a Christmas vest. I wanted to make one last year, but I didn't have time. I don't know if I'll have time this year, but I'd like to make a Christmas vest, a vest to wear at Christmas. And y'all voted on a pattern for that as well. And I think vest number 1 was the preferred choice. And I think that's it. I don't think I have much more to add to that, so I will let you all go. Oh, I'm really excited to go into Christmas season and watching all the Christmas episodes of things, you know, Vlogmas. I'm not going to do one this year because we're gonna have a deadline at work, and then my family is coming here to visit, so I won't have time. But I'm looking forward to watching everyone else's. Yeah, so there we go. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I guess I will let you all know how things worked out with the seeking and with you know, yarn amounts next time. Yeah, so all right, I'll let you go. I hope you all had fun, and I guess we'll see each other at some other point. You'll see me at some other point later in the month. Bye.